values first, because they're going to be easier. You can deal with them from there. For the x value, that means the only other thing we have, that pi has to affect the x values. We always do the opposite for x's. So in this case, instead of subtracting pi, we are adding pi to each of these.
Do opposite of what's in the parentheses?
Correct. X's, we always do the opposite. So 0 plus pi would give me pi. From there, it's either you're good at fractions or you have to use a graphing calculator. Those are your options. The next one was 1/2. So 1 pi over 2 plus 1. Turn it into a fraction would give you the 3 over 2. So that would be 3 pi over 2. 1 pi plus 1 pi is 2 pi. The next one, either you're good at fractions or you're doing it on the calculator. 3 pi over 2 plus 1, turn it into a fraction, 5 pi over 2. And then 2 pi plus 1 pi is 3 pi. For this problem, am I going to have to use an x value of 0?
No.
No, I'm not using an x value of 0. I've got 5 positive x values. None of them are 0. So since I have 5 positive x values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive x values.
Wait, what's the fifth one? I got
So the first one was pi. So my first positive x value would be pi, and then 3 pi over 2, and then 2 pi, and then 5 pi over 2, and then 3 pi.
I thought it was only 4 lines.
Normally it would just be 4, because normally we start at 0. So we technically have already drawn a line for 0. But because this one doesn't start at 0, that's why we have to have that 5th line for this one.
So that's the transformation.
Correct.
If that's the transformation, what are the dots?
So that's what we got to do next. Does sign start in the top or the middle?
Okay.
Middle.
Sign starts in the middle. What's my middle y value?
0.
0. So the first x value I'm using was pi. That's where my dot goes in the middle, is at pi, because that's the first x value I'm doing. So it goes middle, then top, then middle, then bottom, then middle.
What if you ever get me out?
And that would give us the answer for number 1.
Okay,
Any questions? This is the easy one. They're all going to be harder than this one.
Wait, I just waited for the. I feel like number 2 is easier than number 1.
What?
Did I say paper?
Parentheses will affect the x values. All right, we got 6 minutes on number 2. We have 2 transformations. We have the 2 and we have the 56. Do either of them affect the y value?
Yes.
Yes. Does the 2 affect the y's? Does the 56 affect the y's? Or do they both affect the y's?
The 2 affect the what?
Try again.
56.
Just the 56.
Yeah, that's good, Toby. Yeah.
If the 2 had been in front,
Oh,
then it would have
okay.
affected the y's.
It was, no, I never did.
Good job, Toby.
So that's going to affect our y values.
I'm not sorry.
Do we,
You were mean to me.
for y's, do we do the same thing or do we change it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we have to change.
We change it.
No, it stays like that.
Y's stay the same.
Because it's not in there. It's not in the parentheses.
X's we change it. Y's stay the same. So it's minus 56
Cool.
Oh.
for all of those. Good so far?
Yes.
What's 1 minus 56?
Negative 55.
No, it's 55. Oh, yeah.
What's 0 minus 56?
Negative 56.
And what's negative 1 minus 56?
Negative 57.
Is everyone good on how I got those 3 y values?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
From there, I'm going to draw my axes the same way I've drawn them every other problem. What number have I put on that line every single time?
Pi
I.
over 2.
0.
0. That line is represented 0 on every single problem. That's not going to change.
But it's negative 56.
Is 0 one of my y values I have to use?
No.
Sure.
What?
I have to use negative 55, negative 56, negative 57. So where would I put negative 55, negative 56, negative 57?
How in order?
Below it.
In order where? Like up here?
In the wall.
Well, that is the y. So would it go like
Yes.
negative 55, negative 56, negative 57?
Below the
No, like 50, 55, 56.
Right, like I said, 55, 56, 57. What's wrong, Jamal?
They're all negative.
They're all negative, so where should all 3 of them go?
They should be below the 0.
All 3 of them should be below the 0.
Oh.
So the negative 55, the negative 56, the negative 57 are all going to be below the 0.
I just put negative 55. Is that okay? It's like, I mean, all I put was this, but now I'm adding it.
So we do need to have all 3 of them.
Wait, who said it was gonna be, wait, why is that?
We always have 3 y values.
Oh, wait, and you don't have them until only 1 and negative 1, like.
Even the last one. 1, 0, negative 1. I've always got 3 y values. Just for this problem,
So there's some positive values?
yes, for this one there are no positive y values. Because when I subtracted the 56, everything became really, really, really negative. Okay. So, the 56 was affecting the y's. It stayed the same because y's always do the same thing. That means that 2 has to affect the x's. Because it's after the cosine. That 2, the way it's written, is multiplying. Am I still going to multiply? No. We're going to divide. So everything's getting divided by 2.
Pi over 4. Pi over 2. You gotta keep the 0 there? Oh, it is.
We do keep
Yeah,
0.
it is.
Yep. Because sometimes what's going to happen is if you don't get used to doing that 0 one, on problems where it does get affected, you forget that it gets affected, and then you lose points for not changing that one, even though it was supposed to change. 3 divided by 2 is 3/4, so that's 3 pi over 4. 2 pi divided by 2 is pi.
Why is it divided?
Because x's always do the wrong thing. So since it's 2 times x, we have to do the opposite, and we actually have to divide instead of multiply.
I thought that was only for like addition and subtraction.
That's anything that deals with our x's. X's always do the wrong thing. They lie, they post mean things on Twitter, they make up stuff on Facebook and Snapchat, it's just terrible.
Oh,
I see it. There, it's a double entendre.
Yes, yes it is.
Is it left?
So for my x values, do I have to use 0?
No. Yes.
Do I have to use 0? Yes. So do I need 5 new lines for this problem?
4.
I only need 4 because I've already got a line for 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because we already have a line drawn for 0, that's why I don't have to draw a new line for 0. So what am I going to label those new 4 lines?
Well, you were right there.
The pi over 4, the pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, and pi.
Is this one left, middle, bottom, middle, up?
What?
This or that? The one. I think you understand.
I know, that's where I got lost. Does cosine start at the top or the middle?
Top.
The top. What's my top y value that I'm allowed to use?
0.
I'm not allowed to use 0 for this problem. What's my top y value that I'm allowed to use?
Negative 55.
Negative 55. So negative 55, negative 56, negative 57, negative 56, negative 55.
That's what I meant.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that's not what you said.
I said
But I'm
top.
glad it's what you meant because it means you were understanding it correctly.
I said top, middle, bottom, middle, top. Well, I said left.
Yeah. Hence why I got confused on why you said left. I didn't know where left was coming from.
It's the left. It's the left.
Yes. I'll check this out. Any other questions on number 2? All right, try number 3.